Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for April 28th through May 5th, 2025. Well, we sit at such an important moment in time, a scene change, a great scene change. The curtain is closing and we don't know what it's going to look like when it opens again. And yet, supernovas, we are responsible for helping move the props. So it's crazy time because we are coming out of this retrograde season that started all the way back in October of 2024 when Mars went into retrograde shadow in Leo and then turned retrograde, went back into Cancer, spent over 3 months in Cancer, and now back in the sign of Leo, but hasn't quite completed its retrograde shadow. Mars is ecstatic to be back in Leo. It's so exciting to be in a fire sign and to share what he's learned and to take his alignment that he found with the mother. This wounded warrior crying over the blood that's been spilt, questioning everything of why any action has occurred because he's questioning what he's been fighting for in the first place and why he even exists. And that's when we come back to the mandate of the mother and what she shows us, reminds us of. And ultimately, we have to climb right back into her in order to be reborn in this time of rebirth. We cannot deny the message of rebirth with Mercury and Venus both going 3 times over the Aries point. We've just had Mercury make his final pass over into Aries, and Venus will be making that pass this weekend on May 1st. This is a triumphant return of Venus, especially as the third of these personal planets that have gone from went to water signs, fire signs, back to water signs. This is the alchemy. It's our masculine and feminine. It's the perfect balance. It's about coming in using the power of the duality to move through to a whole new reality. Now, if that's the case, then it makes sense that we would probably see a bloom of the duality, both sides. And so it's like as the light is increasing and the energy towards creation and co-creation is increasing, we also have the control energies blooming. And wow, are we feeling this? Because this is the energy of all these energies, planets at the end of Pisces. So for this last week and actually the whole month of April, you know, from the 9th to the 17th and the 25th on the 26th of April, Venus was in exact conjunction to Saturn in Pisces, right there next to the North Node. So this is all happening at 26, 25, 26, 27 degrees. And that was where Mercury was also there in that trine to Mars and sextile to Uranus. Just this beautiful lining up that the only way forward, the North Node, is the feminine rearranging our timeline, which means we have to get the truth, uncover, get Mary out of the dungeon and out of the catacombs, the hidden scrolls, and bring her back to the light of day to have the role of the divine feminine back in order in our world, bringing our world back into order. So this is what this whole thing has been about. And Mercury, so Venus sitting with Saturn. Now Saturn is in Pisces. We got the message that the retrograde that Saturn took is about rewriting and reworking the Piscean age. It's a new timeline, it's a new template. It's going back to the original laws and rules of what this world wanted to become. Mother's mandate that we fight and we grow life. And so everything that's been going against life and is no longer holds sway. It's not that we don't have those forces in the world, it's just that it was out of balance. So now the co-creative, the supportive, the healing forces are more predominant. Now, this is a big shift we've been talking about for supernova souls. How do you go from this energy of Saturn, everything working against you, and into the feeling like it's coming around to support you? And it can't be in between. We talked about this. You can't do a little bit of the old timeline, a little bit of the new timeline. It's just not going to work. And that's where we've been stuck here for so long, at this teeter totter place, at this turnaround moment, at this like, we can't keep going the way we're going. A radical shift is required, is determined. Nothing can stop it. And yet, how do you slow the train down enough to move the other direction? And so, this is the time that we're in. And we're coming to the plot twist part of the movie, where it's going along a certain way. And the definition of a plot twist is like, well, the way you would expect things to play out. It's completely different, opposite, inside out, upside down. And that's exactly where we're at in our world. And so, in the case for supernova souls, the plot twist we're talking about is who you are and how you come into your full potential. We've been talking about this for so long, and yet supernovas, we have been trapped through artificial mechanisms into our false personality constructs. Now, when we go to express our true self, it's like a trap. Exactly that. It's like we go to move our energy, to move our and put forward what we have into the world. What we are met with and have been met with is those constructs of our lower personality self, which is programming over lifetimes. And what is it based in? Trauma, fear, control. And so the thing that mom says is that what's freely given has no need for control. And so the control mechanism forces on the earth are completely misplaced. She's waking up to who she is. We're waking up to who we are. And we're finding that who we are, very different than what we've been told. Very different from every time you've gone to express yourself in the world and bring forward who you are, the reaction that you've gotten. This playbook. And we've been dancing this dance for lifetimes, thinking that we needed to do something better, or we did it wrong, we had to do it more right, we had to try harder. And now we realize, this came through the Taurus new moon activation, really powerful insights and clearings. So go back and get that. And this is like, oh, you guys, this is an algorithm. It's an ancient AI from the first infiltration. And you know, where we were at in our development and our naivety and how, you know, naivety, how we were like trying to move forward in this world, we didn't stand a chance against that program. We just didn't. And we had to go through all of this. But it's really powerful to be like, oh, it's just a program. It's not targeting me and my person, like who I am as a person. It's targeting the person, the path I've taken. This is what's so profound about the supernova story. We're so individual, you know, in our gifts, this incredible faceted conglomerate of experiences and magic that make up each individual supernova soul. So individuated, and yet we are so connected in that we've gone through very similar experiences over lifetimes, like a pattern. Oh, wait, maybe the patterns we've been trying to heal and fix and solve are actually programs. And we've been taking the blame, just like we always do. And this is one of the huge messages coming through right now. Actually, this came through in 2014, 2015, when I first started getting the messages around supernova souls. Some of the most important messages came through that actually haven't made sense until now. And so this is saying that as a supernova soul, you haven't fully incarnated as who you are. And there's multiple reasons for that, but this is this dynamic and dilemma that we're coming to, that we don't know who we are. And the constructs and programming that we have been so inundated with lifetime after lifetime leads us to a place where, and we continue. This is the amazing, beautiful thing about supernova souls. Everything you've gone through, and you still are showing up with an open heart. You still will trust probably the wrong person as well as the right person, because you didn't give up your heart. And we've been beating ourselves up for this for so long. Now, so this message that I got back then was that the moment the supernova souls drop the karma, the responsibility, the blame and shame for what they haven't done. You know, we're carrying karma for the collective, for our ancestors, and for mostly for the dark control forces. You know, apologizing and cleaning up their messes again and again, never holding them accountable. Now is the great accountability, the great reconciliation. We have to make sense of things. Do you feel this? It's going to just get wonkier and weirder until we get more truth or we get something that happens. And now, this is the pressure, the energy of this astrology, because, you know, Mars has moved back into Leo, and that was on April 17th. And then, but coming right into now, Mars has made it to 4 degrees. So Mars has been in this exact opposition with Pluto. Um, and they're just coming out of this T square. The T square will continue to feel through the first week of May. We were feeling it really intense last week because the sun and the moon for that Taurus new moon came into this T square. Now, these things can be going on in the sky. So this is Mars opposite Pluto in square to Black Moon Lilith. And this is just going on out there. Mars is activating it. Mars is a personal planet that, you know, we feel on a day-to-day level. But it's really until our the personal planets interact with the bigger planets that we really feel things. So when the sun and the moon came in for that Taurus new moon, it was like, whoa, because Taurus energy is about whether or not we deserve kind of our self-worth for our resources. And so the sun and the moon together for the Taurus new moon is about self-worth, for our true emotions and our true identity. And is it time for us to embody this? Because Uranus and Taurus, we've had this for the last 6 years, and we are learning the lesson of whether or not we deserve and what we need to do to feel capable and worthy, and that we can handle our own higher power. That Uranus and Taurus, this access to the wisdom, knowledge that we haven't yet been able to access, but is our own wisdom and knowledge. See, this is the trick and the trap. The control forces just had to make sure that under no circumstances were we to remember who we are as souls. Do you see why we don't know who we are? It's just lifetimes of programming. Because if we remembered who we were and the past life pictures and the Akashic records, then we would access the technology that was ours. We've already embodied and work with very advanced technologies in our own body and externally. And that's exactly the technologies that were hijacked to create the Atlantean catastrophes, and still creating catastrophes with directed energy weapons in our modern world today. The same clowns, the same bad actors. You know, because we're not talking about humans. We're talking about perhaps humans that are gone bad and are working with these beings, you know, that are not in our same dimension. They're not human souls born on earth. They are controlling our reality in order to continue to feed on us. And this is this massive crossroads that we're at. And supernova souls, are you feeling it? So powerful. It sucks. This last 6 months has been really hard for us. On the same token, we've been getting stronger and stronger. You can feel it, you know? But there's this feeling like um, just this having to go into these darkest places for this Mars retrograde and this initiation, and really face the darkness, the shame, the failure, you know, coming back and just going through with Venus and Mercury, both of them to Pisces, and Mars at the end of Cancer, is like insecurities and emotional upset and disturbances and just anxieties and grief and just so overwhelming, all of this. And so it's hard to even imagine feeling like you know who you are and you're ready to move forward in confidence, right? Um, and yet, this is the really awesome thing about this turnaround moment and this cross. Okay, so we have fixed where the sun has come out of the square, the sun square Mars and opposite Black Moon Lilith and square Pluto went through the end of April and up to, or it, I mean, through last week, through that new moon. And so we're still feeling it a little bit, but now we're mostly feeling the T square. So that triggered the T square. And this is Mars opposite Pluto, Mars in Leo, not out of retrograde shadow, but in Leo and direct. And then opposite Pluto in Aquarius at 3 degrees, waiting to turn to retrograde on May 5th, hovering at 3 degrees. And then the T square with Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So this will all continue for through the first week of May, and that Pluto in square to Black Moon Lilith will last all the way to the end of May. So this is where we get to the crux of the issue. This energy of the fixed cross. Now, it's interesting because Mars has made this is Mars's third time to oppose Pluto, but the first time to oppose Pluto in Aquarius and Leo. And so it's a challenge where Mars has been on this journey, and he had to fall face down in the dirt and apologize to mom and everyone, just all lifetimes of wherever he went astray from her plan and her love and her devotion, and begging for forgiveness, coming back into her fold, finding his confidence. But he's pretty road weary, super excited to be back in Leo, but bam, smack dab into this T square. And so Mars in Leo is about coming into the full expression of our light, right? Like moving forward in confidence, not in the constructs, because that's what we've been in the old Saturn, old timeline matrix realities. Every time we've attempted to move forward with the expression of our true light and true self, we were met with a reaction from the matrix reminding us of the false message of who we are. Oh no, this is who you are. Remember, you were the evil one. You were broken. Everybody turned against you. They burned you. It was horrible, and it just happened again and again. And you're like, well, I've been burned so many times. I think now I am the fire. And this is the strength and the power that's coming to supernova souls, because you haven't had your true self. You've been operating out of this construct. And it's been the stronger you've gotten in your spiritual path and your devotion to who you really are, the stronger the matrix prison trap specifically around you because of the algorithm, right? Just planned from eons ago. It's nothing personal. It's just like, okay, you expand your light, your cage closes in. It's just how it works. And so it's been harder and harder to really feel that true, authentic self that has the confidence, that knows who you are to move forward. So just be patient with yourself. It's coming back. And this is the energy of the Taurus, where that sun and the moon triggered this grand fixed cross with all the fixed signs represented. The sun and the moon in Taurus says, you deserve who you really are. Who else is supposed to have who you really are? And this is where supernova souls are having very difficult, excruciating experiences of having to set boundaries, very strong boundaries, and kind of where you feel pushed to a place where in the past you would react with great anger. And it's okay, because we need the righteous anger, but we're also understanding that the matrix has been specifically designed to just keep triggering us. Remember, every time you're free, just triggered right back into that dark feeling, or a new dark feeling, or a different anxiety feeling, or fear, or whatever, a new concern, a new problem you have to deal with, a new person who comes along that begs for your help, or tricks you into some sort of manipulative way of getting your energy. And these things have been playing out and so intense over these last few years, really the last, I don't know, 5, 10 years, right? 5 years, COVID, this whole thing. It's like, um, so we're learning that we can handle our power. We can handle our power to create, co-create. We're in alignment. See, Mars going back into Cancer was like, how can we move forward if we're still wondering where this fear and shame and did I do it wrong and did I do it right? That's all got to go away, right? We cannot move forward with that. That's our false construct self, you know? But we have to understand the programming that the false construct self triggers and the trauma triggers and the harassment triggers only come when you exert your power or your influence or your energy in some way. So we've been dancing at this place where the programming says that you should be punished for your power. Oh, well, that would make sense maybe if you were the one who caused the Atlantean catastrophes, but it was a setup and a lie. And it was a setup and a lie around your soulmates and your soul team, your closest soul team that you want to be with. And a very powerful false program that says that if you come into your power, you're going to hurt the people around you. And so you would never want to have your soul group around you. You would never want to have your soulmate around you. So we've got to get all of this worked out. And this is exactly the challenge because sun and the moon coming into this T-square are like, hey, do you deserve your true light? Is it even yours? Because they have mirage after delusion after mirage pulling you into lower drama situations to try to keep you thinking that that's who you are. This is who you are. This is who you are. Transmitting the message of the false self. Just so traumatized, so confused, so immobilized, can't even, then. And this is the design, right, of the whole trauma catastrophe program, Earth simulation, because when you're in the energy of trauma and catastrophe, you can never create. And this is where we have to stop. And so the crossroads for supernova souls is this incredible, unshakable, powerful, irate, and yet controlled determination to take no more bullshit and to not get distracted and not leak the energy out and 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 to know that we're in alignment with mother and we can step into co-creation. Now, to be in alignment and feel in alignment, it takes a lot of self-care. And this is such a huge energy right now because Mars rules the physical body, as does Taurus. And so the Mars opposite Pluto is a challenge in our physical body, square Black Moon Lilith, right? So Mars is saying, hey, I know who I am now. I got a glimpse of it. At least I know that who I was is stolen and I want it back. And I'm ready to shine. I went down, I talked to mom. She forgave me. I'm with her. I'm in her bubble. We're going to go fight for the new world and in a way that we don't have to fight because we're so powerful in our determined presence. That's the power. That's the authority of the mother. So different. It's just like by the time you go find your firearm and get that shit loaded, she's already handled that problem. She is so powerful in our ability to work with her to dematerialize and rematerialize all of the materials of this world. If you have her with you, you are fortified and held in a bubble of protection. This is what we are doing. It's a silly concept to some. It probably sounds really crazy to talk to White Buffalo Calf Woman about saving our earth, but it's actually the only way it's going to work. We're going through a transition and a process, and we're here to help people be connected to the earth vibration, to fortify the electromagnetic field of earth, to fortify our electromagnetic field, our own individual autonomous electromagnetic field with our connection to the earth, to smoothly, in the bubble of her love and protection, move through whatever might be coming our way, because we know it's a new world. The way to get there, what is it going to look like? I don't know what we have to go through, but we know it's a good, beautiful new world. That's the only thing. And we know that Mother births us. And she's rebirthing the world, right? And so we want to get in her womb. Get in her womb. And this is part of the deal with the picture, or some of the messages coming through from her right now, is places, please. And I think that's really important if we're going to look at this, that the plot twist is coming. And the plot twist requires a scene change, backdrop change, curtain close, pause. And we're on deck for that. We're the ones moving the props and the scenery change and all of that, right? But there's a pause, right? You can't just go to the next scene. You got to change the scenery. Otherwise, it's not believable. And so maybe that's part of her message for us too, that it's better than we can imagine. It's not believable. And so all this stuff that people have told us we're crazy for thinking and talking about all these years, and we just shut up and keep it to ourselves. You know? It turns out that it's more real than any of this stuff that's playing out here. And this is a huge picture, huge gift, message. I've talked about the power of our observation. We're here to be observers. We're not here to actually interfere. I mean, we have a call to act and to move in alignment with her, but to take our personal will and think that we need to go make a change in some certain way is not that. We figured that out. We've already done that one. That's what we're fixing this time. So we're moving forward in that co-creative way, the feminine way, where we're waiting and listening and moving with grace, acting when the time and the energy is moving and appropriate, otherwise waiting, listening, paying attention. So as observers, because this is the main thing that's missing when we talk about how do we get back to mother? How do we get back to the feminine connection and balance of the feminine within us? And the messages around this say that she simply wants us to pay attention to her. She's not doing so good. And it's like that, I don't know, it's almost like a scared and broken teenager in the corner suffering, and nobody seems to notice or care. This is the world we've been living in. We just have to ignore the suffering and move forward and try to make it through our own suffering. And it's like, because when you stop and listen, you might get a mouth and earful, and that's what's happening in our bodies. We're stopping to listen. We're unwinding these patterns, and we're reclaiming who we really are. But when you stop to listen, then what's been suppressed is going to come out of suppression, and it might not be pretty, but we still have to be there, and we have to listen. Now, this is really important because I guess it's like a healing crisis. Energies are moving, creation energy is coming back, and it's starting to cause a healing crisis of energy movement. The mud is slinging. But also, we are reminded that as the observers, that the only thing real is what we want to put our energy into. So we want to observe and be present. Listen to the mother. Listen to the feminine. For true healing, we all have our delusions and our ideas and our dreams, our visions, our, whatever. It's like things that have happened to us. It's like, and it's really cool actually to go to a homeopath, because they are not concerned at all with any judgment towards your symptoms or any reality. It's like, that is real for you. That is real. So we want to be real and listen to be real. But then what's not real, our deep emotions and healing and listening and feeling and our, and the grief and facing where we've gone astray from ourselves, and all this heartfelt like repentance with mother of like coming back into the fold is so beautiful. But then there's a message that the observing of the matrix realities, the programs, the agendas, the movie, the just drama playing out in the world, that is voluntary. And it's like we're going to test right now, like how many people are going to keep buying into that movie, and because it takes our energy and attention to keep it going. So pull the plug. She says pull the plug, and I know it's hard Because on the one hand, we really need to know energetically kind of where things are at to work with the collective, and yet not let ourselves get sucked in and affected. And and it's all this thing for supernova souls. How many, this is the global warming thing, right? First of all, you're shameful for existing because you breathe. And it's all your fault, all the problems on the earth. So you should probably be shameful. You should take action to remediate it and make it better. And it's like, well, hold on. But this is the energy of shame and programming around our relationship to Earth. And then the catastrophe, it lays right on top of the catastrophe program. And then everywhere in the world, at supernova souls, that as we work through this planetary karma, we've been continually triggered back into this feeling of responsibility, that it's up to us to fix the problem. And it is kind of, and yet it's not a burden. It's just showing up and flowing with the energies of being true to yourself and moving in a way. And this is the energy. The most important thing in cranial sacral therapy is that the energy of the fact that the bones are supposed to be moving. And this was the whole reason why cranial sacral movement separated out from osteopathy. And because it's the energy is that we have all these tiny little bones, say, in the head, and they like actually want to be moving. And one of the main restrictions that causes so much issue in this world is called the occipital base, and that's where the top of the spine meets the meets the atlas of the top of the spine meets the occiput of the head. And most of us are really jammed up there, and we're holding our own head up through tension. But what happens when you have alignment and flow is that the bones are supported in alignment, but free floating. Now, this is really cool because if you've seen the experiment of the Tesla technology of perpetual motion, and there's a metal egg. Once the energy of the frequency gets the egg moving, the egg turns and stands on its own and floats. So this is what we are doing in this pole shift, this 90-degree turn, the top of the pyramid going the other direction, that we're going up, we're turning a corner at this age of Aquarius. And so that is literally what this pulse shift looks like. It's going from stagnant, where the energy has not been flowing, to returning. And that requires a complete reimagining of our dimensional reality. And going from your life that was this way, now this way, or vice versa, that inside out, upside down. But the point she's saying is it's free floating. When it's supported, it's free floating. So it's a feeling like I don't have to hold my head up. Atlas doesn't have to hold the whole thing up, actually. Mom holds it. We just have to talk to her. We just have to say, hey, you're here, we're here. I love you, I feel you, our mother. This electromagnetic feel, I can breathe with you, love with you, appreciate, be with you in mutual reciprocity, like every single indigenous culture. And then this is the picture from the beginning of the changes on Earth. From way years ago, we got this in our meditations, because for so long we've been grounding with the Earth, grounding. It feels magnetic. It feels like grounded. It feels heavy in the lower part of your body. And then we started to get a different picture of what gravity is. That gravity isn't what they told us it is. It's not mass. It's magnetics. It's polarity. And so in our shifting of our conceptual reality, the energy of grounding with Mother Earth goes from that feeling of a weight meeting the Earth, to the Earth coming up, like the primary waters deep in the Earth that want to bring us the optimal weather and the perfect temperature and everything we need, water in the desert, and can also suck back up the water where there's floods. Like that is the energy. When Mother Earth, we connect with her electromagnetic field in these new energies, it's like being buoyed, right? So the energy is growing up and around you and holding you. And it's like free floating. Can you imagine going from the heavy burden of Atlas's burden of the whole earth and how our technology ruined it all? And now we have to just be here in prison and make up for it. But we didn't do it. It was a setup. And so can we go back to being supported now? And that's the shift we're in. That the energies of creation are available to us. Again, it's our energies by birthright, by existence. We have a certain amount of energy, life force energy available to us as human souls in a body, the highest authority. This is what the Agar-Casey reading said, and we really need to pay attention to this right now. You in the body have the power. No wonder all these technologies are trying to keep us in the lower personality construct, so we let go of our soul and let go of our body, infiltrate our body with so much technology that there's no room for us, like an infiltration of the harmful frequencies. So we just feel like we just want to get out of here. But it's funny because that's the same technology that the Essenes used for protection, emanating frequency from their own body and sound that would keep away danger and infiltrators. Isn't it weird? It's being used against us, our own technology through actual towers. But guess what? We've gotten the message that those towers that are, emitting harmful frequencies, death frequencies, and radiation poisoning, can quickly, immediately, now emit Tesla healing frequencies. And is that our job? Are we raising our frequency to the point where we're the security force of Earth? And does it take being beat down in the electromagnetic, feeling fried like a bug and harassed in this world just for existing, and then taking that and turning it around? And being an emitter of a frequency that is a security force for Earth. Just like the bells, all the old bells that have been stolen. In World War II, they said, oh, we got to melt these down for ammunition. And those bells emit this frequencies designed, these ancient Tartarian technology to emit these frequencies that clean the air and clean the room and clean the earth and the town and the village of lower demonic energies that cannot exist. Are we the ringers of the bell? Are we the bells? We turn on our security force again. And I think we feel good when we do that because, first of all, we're immediately protected from all this harassment. And second of all, we're autonomous and in our power. So maybe that goes together because huge messages coming around. We can't go into the Aquarian age if we're going to be leaking out our energy, which is the crossroads, right? Are you going to be autonomous? Are you going to own it? Are you going to continue to let the demons have it? And it's just really hard choices and difficult, confusing situations. But it's all about this line in the sand for supernova souls. Saying to these forces, what's mine is not yours. It's mine. There's no negotiation. You must give it back. My resources, my energy. So coming back to this, each human soul has a certain amount of energy that's available to them by birthright. The forces of control have basically made it so that we've only been able to access a trickle, a tiny, tiny little bit. And I think this period of time, it feels like we're under control and the Piscean age replay and all this stuff. But is it really about getting used to having our power and our energy back? Understanding who we really are when we put our pieces together, and that we have to be in absolute alignment. We have to go gentle, and we cannot have any more triggers. And it's easy to not have triggers when you feel whole and good and supported and loved. And you're like, oh, just let that wash off. And your energetic field all put together with Mother Earth, it's, but it's like, I guess we really have to, it's like, oh my gosh, we've been fighting to take our power back. But now we have to take responsibility for our power. We have to get over our Stockholm syndrome, and we have to be willing to begin to move in the world. So Mars is that. Mars is our action warrior. It's the will, the human will, and the raw energy that can move energy in the world. Supernova souls have had, most of us, complete takeover of our third chakra, our personal will, through manipulation again and again, right? Because if you feel like your actions cause great danger or harm, then you're never going to take action, are you? And this has been the immobilization a lot of us have been feeling. Like, God, I got so focused. I was really moving along, and then all of a sudden I can't do anything. I just only go circles around the same old stories. And so, um, how do we learn to take control of our power and feel completely confident? It takes a lot of alignment, I think, a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, just bringing ourselves back, 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 back. Let the triggers come, let the embarrassment come, let the attack come, let the shame come. Step into the fire. Be the fire. Say, oh, this is just my lower self. Like, ugh, I'm just not even going to worry about it, you know? Because we all have to do this. Like, and because if we let the triggers of our lower personality construct, then that's who we are. And we've conceded our power again. It's just such a powerful, intense time because Mars is ready to go, shine the light. Sun and Moon in Taurus in this fixed T square saying, hey, this is about being who we really are. You know, not just knowing who we are, but embodying it, like working with it, showing it, sharing it with the world is scary. And then, because the reason why that's so powerful message is because of Uranus and Taurus coming to the end of Taurus after these years, right? So are we getting the message? Uranus moves into Gemini on July 8th. So we're coming to the last couple of months of Uranus and Taurus. And that's why it's so important we get this message. And so Mars is like, well, heck yeah, I'm ready to shine. Went through hell and I'm back and I forgave myself and mother forgave me and I know what I'm fighting for. I know I'm aligned. I'm ready to co-create. And then that opposition with Pluto is just like, oh no, you don't. Now Pluto sits at 3 degrees. 3 degrees is 1, 2, 3. And 1 and 2, put those together. 1 and 1 makes 2, but 1 and 1 actually makes 3, and that's the creation energy, right? The god Horus, the product. So Pluto at 3 degrees is speaking about the creative energy that we were using in the last Atlantean Aquarian age, which was Atlantean time. And so it's everything about fear of our own power. It is on the table, and everything in your life might be about this right now, even though it doesn't look like it. Really difficult contracts that are bringing feelings of trepidation, fear, uh, um, anxiety, you know. It's like a simple little situation in life that has this massive emotional, but that's it, right? We're going to the subconscious, we're cleaning it out, and the stronger we get, and it's just going to be so much easier now to hold the field and to let everything just bounce off. You know, it's an algorithm, it has nothing to do with me. It's just because anybody who would be shining the light would be treated this way. It's actually validation of how much light I have and power I have that they would use all this energy on trying to stop me. And now I say no more, right? So this is the crossroads. Crossroads is like we haven't felt strong enough to put the boundary, right? Because we've been having to go back through the weakness and the shame and the pain. And from that place of weakness, shame, and pain and trauma, you're going to give yourself away every time. You're going to give your power away. You're going to give your energy away just for a little bit of comfort. How many times have we done this? Thinking just a little bit of love, you know? It's okay. It's a fair trade. You treat me with a whole bunch of fake love and abuse, and I'll show up with continual devotion. Can't do it anymore. We cannot give where it is not valued, received, and honored. And we didn't even know we were doing it. So that's what's playing out for a lot of people right now. And it really has to do with Venus here sitting at the very end degrees of Pisces. Venus is at 28 degrees Pisces. And like I said, we'll move into Aries on May 1st. What a powerful message for Beltaine. You know, Beltane is a celebration of spring. It's the celebration of fertility. It's the midpoint between the equinox, spring equinox, and summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. So Beltane is a fertility ritual, a celebration of like everything coming back online, and exactly what we're talking about with the creation energies. And what's happened is the creation energies, because we got this distorted story where the feminine, um, different aspects of the feminine were cut away and taken away and stolen, and then we were left with one, the virgin. And so it's beautiful picture, but there's more to the feminine. There's more than just the virginal purity to offer, because the truth of what the feminine offers is in the fact that the female body, just because it's female body, has closer access to life force, creation life force, because it can create life, can birth a baby, right? That's just a biological fact. So, but the creation energy has been, just like Mary Magdalene, you know, stolen out of the Bible and demonized. And so we are separated from it. And then the only way to get back into your sexuality is if you do open the door into sexual energy, it's like scary demons, darkness, grossness. Like our whole world has been so sexually distorted, and it's a complete and total, it's just not an accident. They planned this so deliberately to just try to make sexual energy so dark and so twisted, and that we just shut it off completely, or we get lost into that distortion. And we've all been targeted in ways to try to keep us, through implants, in false stimulated states, disconnected from our higher knowing. And it's like this level of sexual violation in our world today is beyond what we can imagine. And nobody's even talking about it or doing anything or saying anything about it, because we're all just repressed and scared and shy and shamed. And so how are we ever going to like access our creation energy, which is exactly the same as sexual energy, but is so different in the higher chakras? But how are we ever going to get that unless we clear up that shame? And this seems to be the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, that the Black Moon Lilith is the deepest, darkest secrets, often around the feminine or this creative energy. So this energy of Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is deep, hidden, repressed secrets around the feminine and creation energy. So it's everything. And it's saying that we've got to have an exposure. If we want the magic back, then we got to go get Mary out of the dungeon. You know, we got to recrown our queen. And we have to respect and honor the feminine, and also like open up to the deep feminine mysteries, the wisdom. This is the technologies we're talking about all the way back to Atlantean time. Those technologies that have been hidden from us and stolen from us are feminine technologies. This is Mary Magdalene. Her teaching, you know, Joshua's teaching is pretty straightforward message of the mother and parables, but it's Mary who has the deep mysteries from Isis from Egypt and Atlantean time. This is the wisdom we need with the spiritual impulse in order to get ourselves out of this trap, to remember who we are. Because we're getting the messages like we are the medbed, and we're not going to get a disclosure of advanced technologies until we stand up and show these technologies. And that sounds really scary. So you've had lifetimes of being burned, and now you have to step out after weeks ago or yesterday. The constant hazing for you shining your light, constant issue and problem, constant criticism, you know, all that. And now you have to step up on stage and turn your light on after they've killed you every single time you got close to that. Do you see where we're at? Just be patient with yourself, because we are working out so much of this programming. And it's just deep, deep, deep-seated distortion. And that's why we have to go into the nitty-gritty of the subconscious. And we're going to have to get truth in our world too. And we're going to have, but for us supernova souls, let's focus on the disclosure that's most important, which is who we really are. And it's like we're scared children, just left in the wrong planet, lost and alone. And then somebody comes along, it's like I see this cart, like a shopping cart, but it's kind of like it's got a whole bunch of orange balls in it. And us children, we're sitting here waiting in these places where we've been quarantined and stuck in our consciousness. And along comes mom. She like broke in and she's got a basket of all these balls, and the balls are our who we really are, you know. And so if if she's coming by with a basket of goodies, it's yours. Are you going to take it? Are you ready to take it? If you're not ready, it's okay. Be gentle with yourself. But like, we need to prepare ourselves to take back what's ours, because we can't leave it bouncing around out there. And maybe that's this crossroads, the boundaries, the saying, no, my energy is my energy. I'm not going to use it for lower matrix constructs. I'm not going to let you disturb my peace. I'm not going to let you harass me. I'm over here in Mother's Garden and shit is good, finally. You know, and so this is this massive shift that we're in. And it's so powerful to think about it in terms of, so we've got that whole grand fixed cross, and the fixed signs are like establishing a new order. And so we know the new order has to do with cleaning up all the lies and messes and repression around our creation energy and taking it back. With Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio, it's about whatever's in the way of shining our light, our insecurities, are out where we were out of alignment in our masculine with Mars and Leo, and now we step forward in confidence and shine. Except for opposite Pluto, there's a huge challenge to that power, because remember what happened last time. And then, so this is just so dynamic. So we've got that whole story going on. But then we have this Venus, Saturn, North Node, Mercury was there too, and Neptune was there. But Venus, Mercury, Venus, South Node, Saturn, hanging out together for the whole month of April pretty much. And Venus is just now separating. She's like, hey, you guys, I'll meet you there. North Node goes backwards, but the North Node is, how are we going to get to where we're going? What is required and the only way to move into the future? And this says, well, we got to go back to Saturn, the timeline, and we got to reset it according to balance, love, reverence for the mother, which is the divine feminine within us. You know, the love of the mother isn't about worshiping a deity. It's just completely not that at all. Worshiping the mother is how we get to the healed feminine within us. And it's so profound what we're doing here. Midwives, stewards of earth and this evolution, it's really real. All these things that we've been having in our heads and our visions that people have called us crazy for so long, it's really real. It's really happening. We are birthing new earth. And it's not like, I'm not going to wait around for you to give me confirmation or validity that this is what we're doing. I've got to get back to my midwifery duties. There's no argument. And I'm not going to spend one moment on your false reality, on your emotional drama, on all of this. I gotta get back to my midwifery duties. And we do this from the womb, being with her in that sacred place through our meditation, our deep breathing, our presence, our love. You cannot sit still after you've done a few of these activations and connected with mother. You cannot sit still in peace and presence for very long before you feel that energy. It doesn't take long. And we got to do it as much as we can. And maybe in reaction to difficult things, we can go like, okay, now this period of time was this much of emotional stress. Now I got to go take that much time, maybe double, in Mother's Garden. And I'll see you guys later. You know, this is our unplugging. Because if we're unplugging from the stories that they're telling us and the movie and the false realities, what are we going to replace it with? And that's where we're in this, it's exactly this pause, right? Well, the curtain's closed, we don't know. And this is a big thing from her too. She's like we said, it just doesn't look like what you thought it's going to look like. So stop trying to figure it out. You're wasting your time and energy. And is that more of the program? Because this urgency, the time, we got to figure it out, we got to fix it, that's all connected to planetary catastrophe karma. If we're with mom and she's with us, there is no time. She's got us. We're held. We know exactly where we need to go and what we need to do to stay safe. And we'll feel her every step of the way. So it's such a big turnaround moment. And it seems like that Mercury and Venus going back, over Neptune, Aries point, Neptune, North Node, and Saturn. And then turning around, saying, come on, Saturn, let's go. And Saturn is moving along, like we said, coming to that Aries point on May 26th. So this is so huge because Saturn spends about 2.5 years on a sign. And so coming to the end of the Saturn in Pisces, Saturn's going to go back into Pisces in the fall, or in September, October, November, August, September. Um, um, and so, but it's so epic that Neptune and Saturn are making it over this Aries point. And so we're at this really weird place because Venus and Mercury went back. Mercury's already now, has made it out of retrograde shadow as of um I believe the 26th of of April. And so Mercury's ready to go, right? Like Mercury's going into new territory and it's happening. And then Venus is just about to move over the Aries point. And so, in between, when Venus moves over the Aries point on May 1st and when Saturn moves over the Aries point on May 26th, is a very magical window. And just something very powerful happening as we have Neptune, just sitting there at 1 degree Aries. So that means that when Venus moves over, then she's going to come into that conjunction with Neptune, and that happens on the 3rd and the 4th of May. So this week, very powerful. It's Venus moving over into Aries on the 1st, 3rd and 4th coming into a conjunction with Neptune, and then the 6th and 7th, Venus in her third and final sextile with Pluto. So all of these things is the third and final time, and that's the magic, right? That's the charm. Third time's a charm. That's when you get the message, or you get the shift, or you get the thing, right? So third time over the North Node just happened last week. Third time over the Aries point. Third time conjunctions with Neptune, but this is the first time of conjuncting Neptune in Aries. So it's new and it's whole and it's at 1 degree, right? So the timeline, we got to balance and heal and listen and love and bring back into the fold the feminine, talk to the mother to heal our feminine, to move forward. It's a feminine adjustment to the timeline. We know this, right? It's wholeness, though. 1 degree. Venus and Neptune, the dream of the feminine is about wholeness. So we can drop all this stuff about worshiping a deity or having to make up for the patriarchal and having it matriarchal and all that. Coming back to mother and the feminine, if we're going to the womb, there's just one womb. Just one womb. You can have two babies in one womb, but you can have one baby in two wombs. Maybe if you're SuperNova soul with your superpowers, but this might be our problem. I don't know. We're putting ourselves back together, Our true soul essence has been fractured through what we've gone through over lifetimes, past life pain, traumas, abuse, cloning, whatever. It's like, no, it's mine. And is this what we're saying to these authority energies? Like, they're like, oh, no, 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 it's fine. Just keep giving us your power. It's okay. And they're not going to hand it over easily. So we're at that point. This is the crossroads. We got to go, no, it's not about whether I can negotiate or try to convince you to give me back what's mine. What's mine is mine. And this is the mother's law and rule. Nobody can take from you what's yours. This is the most beautiful thing, coming back to the mother. Heartbreak, it's about breaking open to more love. Because she says, It's yours. Like this energy we're talking about that is your birthright, the love that's there for you, the gifts, the blessings that are coming, your full cup, your community, your sense of self and peace and presence, your abundance. It's all yours. Nobody can take it, right? It feels like it when you're in loss. But all the loss we're going through right now is only to make room for what's coming. Please remember that, she says. We're at the end of this. This is the end of the loss of the dark Kali Yuga, of the Piscean age. It's the end, right? And now it's about stepping into abundance. And so, can we start living it, acting it, owning it, not through ego, but through this confidence that Mars and Leo wants to bring us after the T square? So the T square energy pretty much goes through the 6th, 7th. And so this whole week, we're just going to kind of be in that pause. Curtains closed. We don't know what's coming, but something's coming. And that's kind of the control forces now are trying to, for a while, they were using all this energy of keeping us in fear of what's coming, and that energy is not working anymore. And so now it's like, oh no, it's not coming, nothing's happening, it's just we're stuck in between, you know. And it does feel like that when the curtain closes on your life. And isn't this just been one thing after another, supernova souls? You have to let go of till there's nothing left. So guess what? How much is coming back, or trying to, or wants to? And the card's coming. She's got your, it looks like a basketball, but it's a sun. And she wants to give it back to you. She's like, oh, I kept it safe for you. No one can take from you what's yours. Take it, own it, love it, live it, breathe it, celebrate it, be strong and confident. Because this is the thing, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, maybe we're coming full circle here. We've only been met with the matrix algorithm. We're always met. The stronger we are in our light and who we are, the more we're met with invalidation, argument, attack, abuse. And then that's designed to trigger us and trick us back into thinking we're the lower person, you know, that we're the lower personality constructs and not our big, beautiful soul self. And so this is the abundance we're talking about. And so we have to switch this little switch that is the little trigger switch that's like, somehow as we go to express ourselves, we might be putting forward a subconscious kind of like waiting for the attack, you know. And so she says that your true self is so beautiful, and it's such a gift, and it cannot be through any authentic energies in the world, like not received as beautiful. You have been told that you're something wrong, bad, dark, and evil, but you're a beautiful, abundant spiritual gift. And so as we move into this, out of Stockholm Syndrome, into our co-creation, into moving in the world, you know, watch that little program that comes up just before you bring yourself forward in some way. And remember that she says how beautiful it is and what a gift it is. And please don't hold it back anymore. That might be the biggest crime, you know? The biggest sin came through in the Agar Casey readings is going against ourself, you know, our true self. And this is where most of the pain in our lives, supernovas, have come from, because we've been giving it all away, trying to make up for something, trying to hold the whole earth, and you know, with a picture of it being a round ball that's connected to nothing, floating out there all alone in space. And so we take off that burden. We take off the prison planet, the chains, and we see the realm of Mother's Garden. The magical realm. It doesn't even have an edge. You don't have to worry about what shape it is. It's created as we go. Do you see the trap we've been in? And so part of the disclosure of truth, which I think is this, what people would think is the most crazy thing on earth, is this flat earth theory or whatever. But it's like, really, our cosmology of believing the round ball, NASA, not a space agency, that is keeping us from moving forward. It's disconnection. It's blame and shame. It's purgatory. We are connected to our mother. She's here all along. She was asleep, traumatized, numb, and she's waking back up. So there's a lot to work through. And we've got to listen to her, like our feminine inside. Just listen. You know, this is so beautiful. Isn't it hard when you go as supernova soul and you finally find somebody that might want to hear what you're going through? And then they just want to chime in with all the solutions to fix it. And you're like, do you not think, first of all, I'm a supernova soul. I have not explored every single solution. Do you think you could just listen and be present? Just hear me? This is the best medicine. And that's all she wants from us. Just listen. And that might mean we've got to unravel the false stories of the past, the manipulations of history, the manipulations of our timeline, of the stealing of the technologies that we've already had. But we are pushing this disclosure by just literally turning our light on. And now it's time. I've gotten really clear confirmation. Before, a few weeks ago, we were saying nothing, they're trying to do this stuff to you and it's not working, right? And I'm really getting this confirmation. It's just not working. The negative timelines, negative creating, trauma, drama, it's like, it's just the remnants of it, you know? It's just not working. And so that can help us unplug, right? The energy is with mom now. That means it's with you because you're her earth steward. And that means that it's that turnaround moment, right? Where we've been talking about it, where it's like, wait a minute, the old Saturn black cube, everything's working against mother and the life-giving forces and the spirit and the healing and so now the turnaround moment says that you can't go a little this way, a little that way. The egg isn't going to turn diagonal and still float. We have to completely change, which means we have to completely let go of our old state. And so, in that place, it's very uncomfortable, right? Maybe that's where we're at, because it's like this complete door shutting and the next door isn't open. The curtain's closed. Is there even a scene? Are we even at the theater? Wait, is it a theater? Is it real? And maybe that's it, right? When the curtains close, it's a theater. You remember, oh, we're watching a play. It's a psyop. A big, elaborate, lifetime after lifetime, thousands of year psyop, but now we remember who we are and what we're doing here. Just coming back to our true self, bringing everyone home to mom and saying, hey, you did steal our world and you were successful and we let you. And now game over. Give it back. It's ours. We know it's ours. So we know it's ours. It's just a weird place because it feels like the curtain change, the backdrop is we know it's our power, but we haven't yet demanded it be returned. And it really fits the picture of this activation. This was not the Taurus new moon, but the Libra full moon. That activation, we saw a picture of supernova souls working together as an organism that we are. It's not like we can be, I think we'll make an organism. No, we already made this stuff. We thought it all through. We made all the plans, all this elaborate stuff that you were working on in your past lives, maybe just for this to help you now. I mean, we've literally gotten that picture and the message that the temples we built, these elaborate and beautiful temples that we built with advanced technologies that we don't even understand today, but we built those temples with certain specifications in order to access that geometry and those pictures to heal our body now, to take back our temple. And this is the deep pain and the grief of walking in this destroyed temple. That we're walking in the West, you can feel it in different parts of the world, have been so much of our ancient history has been destroyed. And we're walking in the rubble of our own, what we brought to the earth. It's a slap in the face. We're walking in the rubble right now with this incredible infiltration, this violation on the physical body through this technological implants and poisoning. we're walking around in our own destroyed temple. And that's a little bit depressing, isn't it? Except for that we built the temples. We've got the geometry, the formula, the technology. And what if it is just there on the astral plane to rebuild our body after this attack on our DNA? This beautiful, beautiful sacred form, which it's been coming together, that supernova souls have been on a mission from the beginning in this whole evolution to create the perfect, most beautiful physical body to host the light. You know, the light body, Christ consciousness, the evolution of where we're going. And it's a really sacred, special project. And the defilement of what's happened to these temples on the earth and our physical body is so wrong. And this is where we kind of have to, like, how can you correct the problem if we don't know it's a problem? So we've got to have this exposure, you know, and so we've got to have the healing crisis. We've got to have the disease present itself, and that's what's going on. All the darkness that's being shown in the world, which is, it's going to not be pretty, you know, to have to really look at this stuff, but it's been there all along. We just are now seeing it. And that's when it's getting cleaned up. So we're going to do this in our bodies, right? It's like, all right, a lot of supernova souls going through triggers of shame. And then part of this message around this is that it's really important you have a complete clearing of shame in order to be there for any souls that are in between, have like done really, really bad shit. Like, and the souls, human souls that have to face the really bad stuff that's been done. You needed a purification of shame in order to get you in a place where you can support humanity through this next chapter. And it's funny though, because it's like all this intense shame of like whatever, something happened in a past life or something you did wrong or something, you know, that you wasn't happy, you got manipulated or you weren't happy with your behavior or whatever. And then comparatively to the evil deeds of what we're really dealing with and the shame we've taken on for these evil doers from Atlantean time, we took it on. We said, oh, we took the blame. We agreed on some level. And maybe that's where we agreed to infiltration. And now that deep-rooted disease, that deep-rooted original infestation in violation of the mother must be healed and corrected. And this is like the story of Lilith. Interesting, Black Moon Lilith, because Lilith in the Bible, Adam's first wife. And she got kicked out of the garden because she wouldn't submit. He wanted to be on top. Wasn't comfortable with her being on top. So this is the core essence of what's blooming between the masculine and the feminine in this world right now. And in relationships, it's just so intense. And it's like we're all as supernova souls, of course, representing the disgraced and disgruntled and disconnected feminine and wanting to bring that back. So we're all having to go through this process of placing boundaries and standing up to bullies and claiming what's ours. And it can be really trigger a lot of fear. But you're such a badass, and you won't know what a badass you are until you start coming into your being forced to use it. So the situations in your life are the perfect resistance, because that's how electricity works, right? There's like the force, and then there's a resistance, and that's the scalar wave, the power. So whatever's in your life right now, the difficult experiences we're all going through, is the perfect resistance to give you the impetus, the power, the strength, the formula to overcome and set yourself free entirely, you know? And that's what's going on. We've gotten the message around this Venus and Mercury going back into Pisces, rewriting the Piscean age and Saturn and everything, but it really is happening. You can really feel this shift. And then it's that thing of like, well, this is a little better. I think it's comfortable, but maybe it's really uncomfortable because now I have to face this fear of my own power and I'm immobilized, and then the shame and all that. So we're just in a very dynamic time, back and forth through the veil of the old, the past and the future, and the old and the new, and pacing around on the stage wondering if the curtain's ever going to open again. Do we have to wait till tomorrow night? You know? It's so strange, and yet we can all feel that something major is happening and it's coming very soon. And It's okay. We don't know what it is, right? Because we're with her and we're handled. So really powerful energies. The main thing is this T-square, fixed T-square, establishing a new reality, facing the lies, the shame, and the fear of our own power so that we can feel worthy to step into who we really are. The same time, Venus, Saturn, Venus coming to the end degrees, leaving Saturn's side and jumping over into Aries on the 1st. And so when Venus like we said, Venus goes into Aries, then conjunct Neptune 1 degree, the new dream, the new feminine balance in the new dream is about oneness and wholeness, right? Overcoming duality into the oneness, using the feminine and masculine archetypes to become whole. And then right into that sextile, third and final sextile with Pluto. Sextiles are creative solutions, and we're going to get this figured out of how to access back our full permission and use of creation energy. And that's really, what the whole idea, the true teachings of Yeshua, Jesus, are about the right use of energy. So, wow, that's interesting because that's really what we're dealing with. All of everything that's blocking us right now is simply fear that we don't know and can't handle our own power. And so, again, his teachings were really the mother's teachings. And this is our teachings and our work as well. Because what's come through both the Edgar Casey readings and the Rudolf Steiner lectures is that you can equate Yeshua, the Christ consciousness that Yeshua was embodying through his pure spirit, through his pure soul, with the energy of the soul of earth. So it was separated, so Mother Earth. So basically, and Jesus is representing and embodied this soul of earth that's been separated from her. And our soul's been separated from us, right? Our true spiritual soul. And we are the bridal chamber, bringing them back together. But actually, all of his teachings are her teachings. So is it Mother came in a masculine body, to bring us back to the Father? Because that's the union. When the Christ consciousness and the soul essence of earth is returned to the body of earth, then that is source, wholeness, oneness, everything that we're talking about. And so this week with Venus, with Neptune, the new dream of wholeness, sextile Pluto, we can jimmy the lock on this and overcome the fear of our own power. What if we just are happy and feel good? And that energy of lightness, of being, allows us to know that our co-creations are in alignment, So it's just doors are opening that we didn't even know were there. And that has to do with this, because Saturn and when Mercury, Saturn and Venus still close to the North Node. And then they were also in trine to Mars in Leo, or in Cancer at that time, and then sextile to Uranus and Taurus. So this highlights the Saturn sextile Uranus that is a message pretty much for the whole year of 2025. Saturn sextile Uranus is that timeline correction we're talking about in a creative solution relationship with Uranus, our permission for our higher power. So it's coming back into our higher power techniques, technologies, and abilities, and with knowledge of who we are, that corrects the timeline. It can be fun, unexpected. And Uranus is unexpected, Saturn is time, and in sextile, it's kind of like it's an unexpected time. Things are not flowing the way they normally do, but that's because the magic's trying to come in. So this is the message of these doorways opening that you didn't even know were there. So be present, right? We just want to be present, pay attention. She says to preserve. Saturn sextile Uranus was exact from March 28th to April 13th, and then will be exact again August 4th through the 16th. And so, but they stay close and sextile this whole time, all the way to the end of September. Okay. So it started at the end of February. And so this whole year is from the end of February to the end of September is about this jimming the lock on the timeline and awakening, becoming comfortable, figuring out this higher wisdom and ability and talents, techniques, technology that we have within us that's been stolen, just hidden from us, right? It's ours. So as we're ready, we have access to these memories and through the Akashic records and through our own astral body. The records are there. We experience these things. It's ours to know. But it's a lot to take on, right? Especially if we're working out our responsibility to the earth and carrying it all, the burden. We have to go slow and gentle with accessing those records, because we don't want to trigger more trauma. We're in a very sensitive state of deconditioning and reconditioning, unwinding the cult programming. And so, in that state, everything's weird, oversensitive, and easily triggerable. But it's so important to have the opportunity to unwind these patterns. So, really powerful. This Saturn sextile Uranus also means that the North Node is in sextile to Uranus. And this is from the end of, started on the 26th and goes till May 12th. And very beautiful energy. And we'll feel that till the end of May. And so it's another beautiful little dynamic sextile saying the way forward, the only way forward, like we said, in Pisces, we got to rework it, face the lies and reclaim the magic. And we do that by taking back the technology and authority over this technology in our body and our field on the earth. That's the only way forward. Back into her womb and reclaiming all of the technologies to be used only for what's in alignment. So that means that if we have this delineation, this affirmation, and this vibrational frequency, this determined willpower knowing, then the technologies that we've been infected with in our body can't stay. They just have to get out and detox, right? So it's like we start cleaning the earth of the harmful technologies by cleaning our body of the harmful technologies. She is us, she says. Our body is her body. And so we're really called to gentle detox and massive self-care, radical self-care, with this all this Uranus activation, taking care of ourselves on all levels and honoring ourselves on all levels, because shit, you are a gift and you've been through the ringer. But don't ever let any of that energy, it just can't get in anymore. It's like she said, please see yourself, understand as you bring forward what you have, it's a gift. Doesn't matter the reaction, people like it or not like it. It is such, the reality is that it is a beautiful, amazing gift for the world. And don't let anyone tell you different, and make sure that they show up in reverence and gifts for your gift, because you're a representation of the mother. You're saying, I'm saying yes to an embodiment of her field in my field. And now I must make sure that everyone around me, through my presence and energy and awareness and attention, also respects that field. We're going to respect it now. No, we're not going to poison it. We're not going to violate it. She's just been through so much, just like us. So what a wonderful support system for healing. And that's where we need to stay focused. So still kind of coming off that Taurus new moon. Wow, because we're going to kind of feel that energy all the way through till these squares come off. And like I said, that happens the first week, by the 6th. But Pluto square Black Moon Lilith, that one lasts through the end of May, and a lot lasts through the end of May. So that's really our timeline of the recapitulation and sorting through this whole retrograde season. We still have another month of those energies kind of rearranging, and that's, so you could look at that maybe for the month of May as this scene change backdrop. It's the curtains closed, something else is coming. Everybody's waiting in anticipation, but we don't know what it might look like. And yet we're still asked to move around some stuff in the dark and bump into each other, right? Supernova souls. We are the backstage help. We are behind the scenes, and let yourself be behind the scenes. This is a cool thing that's come through. Like, we've been in such confusion, but the energies, the shifting that's happened is there's a little bit more, and then we have to get used to that too. It's like there's a little bit more, less of the spider web grid and more of open access. But then you might feel flooded in, like voices, energies, messages are screaming at you because they've been blocked for so long. So we have to rearrange our psychic space to be able to handle the dropping of the frequency fence, you know, and adjust to that. But in that, you can also start asking the questions you really want to ask to your higher self, always through your higher self, right? Filtered through your higher self, but the highest guidance, highest messages that can come through, and be like, I'm ready to understand this. I know this is my knowledge, and you know, you you know more than me if I'm ready to understand this, but start the download. I want to start the process. I might need not be ready to fully know this information, but this is part of the activation of our will coming with Mars direct in Leo, you know, and we align that will and we set that intention. We say it. This is the mother saying, she's like, it's all in timing. It's all in divine timing, right? And so we don't know when the manifestation is going to be created, but once it's man, what's the idea is there, it's already started, right? So, and like this is what she says to us too. You worked for lifetime after lifetime planting these seeds, all the solutions, all the ways, all the different ways to figure out how to do things. We figured it all out. We've done it in past lives. We've got the formulas down, you know, and so we don't have to mess around. We can just get going. We don't have to wonder. We don't have to worry. And that's a beautiful unfolding of her original dream that you've been holding in your heart against all odds, and everybody just made fun of you, you know, called you crazy. You still were there with her, and you opened your heart back up to her, which is the hardest thing in the world. We had to go through so much, supernova souls, just to claw our way back to Mother so we could take them back to her. And now is it time for us to rest and enjoy that place in Mother's garden, that undisturbable, unshakable peace? Because everything we're dealing with, every thought, every emotion, every illness, every distortion, every message is a message. It's a vibration, it's a frequency. And so there's some power growing in our field that I'm seeing. And this is everything, the Owning Your Energetic Field course and the intuitive training, all designed to help us hold our field. And it's really powerful picture of that determination and that presence, and kind of almost being able, like that Jedi warrior seat, like say it's a disease picture, an energy, a negativity, a judgment, whatever's coming at you, right? And it's like you can slow it down and be like, oh yeah, I don't need to even know what that is, but it's not in alignment with Mother's garden, and so it can't come in. It's just deflected, and it goes, and maybe it's like spins off and receives a little bit of the blessing of who you are, because you have gone through so much and you walk with her. And this is the healing. This is all the words we've ever tried to say. You can't describe it, you know? And I guess that's maybe why I get so trying to say this and convince myself and people about this mother concept, because it's the best way I found to describe this field of energy. And that's what it is. It's a field of energy. And so the field of energy of Mother's garden is that healing happens all on its own, and the energy just moves, you know. The free energy is already happening. The healing's already happening. The intention is so powerful, so good. A group of people in the beautiful environment, and such healthy options and care taken in the way that we're living. And like this Mother's garden, is anybody who is ready to receive healing on any level could just receive it energetically. You know, it can just flow over into them. And that's where it all starts. You know, when you take that, you're in a state and you get that appropriate homeopathic remedy, wherever it is, just an acute little headache, or if you got some big constitutional thing going on, that remedy, if it's indicated and it's working, the first thing that happens in 5-10 minutes is peace. feeling loved, cared for. This is what healing is. And this is, studies have been shown that for true healing to occur, really, really important, there's got to be a heart chakra engagement or healing will never happen. So if we can't be present with ourselves and each other, and we go ahead and talk about all these concepts and do all these exercises and all this, learn all these things, but we can't be present with ourselves and each other, healing is never going to occur. And so this is the energy of Mother's Garden, is that it's just the love and the peace and the hope. Then the body heals itself. That's what the remedy does. The remedy does say, hey, here's your roadmap. Here's the truth. And the bigger the issue and the more dramatic, the more you're going to feel this love come in your heart and your body and say, thank God. Then you know Mother's there with you. And your body knows what to do and you feel at peace. You might have some physical symptoms come up, right? This is that all often with homeopathy, true healing, you'll get an expression of old symptoms, a return of old symptoms, and maybe healing crisis as those patterns are unwinding of suppression. But you're going to feel good about it in your being. And that's how you know you got the right remedy and that healing has happened. So why don't we go and see where we can get to the how to feel good about it? You know, what's happening right now in every moment in Mother's Garden. And that's over there. I'm going to feel good about it. It's not that I don't care, I just don't mind. And so we start caring for Mother here, caring for everyone here, caring for the earth here. And we take off that burden and we go free floating and she carries us and we walk with her off into this golden road of adventure, of beautiful offerings of supernova souls coming together at sacred locations, in groups, amplifying with music and dance, song, prayer, celebration, demonstration of technologies, showing the world, the field. That they, once you experience it, then of the primary water, the mother, this mother's garden, then you if you really feel it and you experience it, then you know it's real. Just like anything else, we can do all the book learning we want, but until we really experience it, then it's an experiential knowledge. And I guess that's where we're at, right? So stop with all the words and concepts and planning and lists and all that. Just let yourself be a mother's garden, because that's what you have to take to the world. And if you can't receive it, then how is the world going to receive it? And it's quite a thing to let yourself be at peace of lifetimes of feeling guilty and scared about the destruction of Earth. Are we done with this now? And we put it down. Put down the chains, remove the restrictions, and let it be free floating. Let you yourself be buoyed and held by Mother Earth, floating along in the bubble. Yeah, we gotta go through the darkness. Well, it's much better in her arms, and she's got us. We don't have to worry about it. It's kind of a picture of a bubble, like I see like one of those plastic bubbles, right? But like you can see outside this bubble, right? But nothing can get you. So you're still the observer. You can offer the overflowing geyser energy, but still be autonomous and contained, and hidden if you want to, if you need to in the moment. These are the powers we have that make ourselves invisible. This is the higher technology we have. So I guess that's maybe a message too, that we're starting to experiment with these technologies, but understand it's scary. It's going to trigger trauma, but it's also really fun and exciting. And so it's a new world, and we're at that point. So this point of time between when Venus goes into Aries and when Saturn goes into Aries, it's like we're just in this waiting game, And oh, they changed the script. Like, oh, it's a new character. Somebody, has got to play this part. And that's what's going on. Really hectic behind the scenes. And the audience is just there going, maybe a little like under the curtain, see a little light move, but nothing, no other evidence of life behind the curtain, And yet, you know, the golden road to the age of Aquarius and Mother's Garden awaits. And so we want to be there, don't we? We thought we had front row seats, but we were actually behind the curtain. And maybe going back to that message, like there's so much we haven't gotten to know, and we've been looking and looking and looking for answers. But if you ask very deliberately and be okay with the timing of the way it comes, everything is available for us right now for the information we need. Just a heartfelt asking. There's just all this information opening up. And it's almost like, well, you really want to know this, but this has to stack out over here and your psyche over here. Then it can come down, and just being patient with the process. This is the feminine way of creating, right? It's like feel it out, set the intention, the picture, but then just listen and allow and follow the signs. Wait for the signs until wait for the timing, and then make your move. So again, more listening and paying attention. And isn't that an amazing thing? I found that most supernova souls are really good listeners. And it's so hard because nobody's listened to you, and you have so much to share and to say. But maybe we need to go see that picture of a good listener for mom, for the feminine within us, or how we feel in the collective consciousness, our ancestors, and start to sort out these energies. Maybe since we've been blocked, we also haven't been feeling the barrage of energies of demand and ancestors and control energies. So we got to sort out all that before we can get back to this incredible new level of guidance and connection that's available to us in this next chapter. So supernova souls, your rock stars, hang in there. This is so intense and yet so freeing, right? The more intense it is right now, the more it is about setting you completely free from those patterns and programs of the past and into who you really are. So be ready, because mom's coming around redistributing our true soul essence. And it's kind of like she's like, you want it? She's like, I'll keep it for you longer. Nobody else can have it. Just like she said, it's safe. You're safe. And now it's safe on earth for you to embody. And thank you for all your work in that, because we couldn't have done it without you. So such a powerful time for supernova souls right now. It's when it starts all making sense, and when things start to line up and you stand there and you receive, say, yeah, I'm worthy of this. I knew this was coming. I've been through hell and back, and now I'm going to heaven, and I'm bringing heaven here. So we're going to go there in our field and have that good feeling so that the healing can happen around us. Instead of taking on the garbage, it's so opposite, right? So that's our timeline alignment from where we've like, oh, somebody's suffering and I wish I could help, and I'll transmute before we don't even realize we're doing it. Somebody we don't even know, and we're taking it on and trying to transmute their stuff, And so this is such a different way. That's Atlas with the restriction in the cranial base, right? It's like, but what we're doing is now just being present and understanding that the healing comes from the presence, and the healing comes from the good feelings within us, not by taking on the garbage of the collective, our ancestors, or the control forces that did the blame game, to keep us constantly apologizing for who we are, low self-worth, begging for crumbs, and taking abuse. So this is the big shift. And so it's like we really have to get to this autonomous place where it's like, you may be having experience and I am so right here present with you, but it's not my experience. It's not I can't do it for you. I can hold space for you. But this is your glorious opportunity, and why would I ever want to take that from you? Your misery and process is not my misery and process. I saw this with beautiful picture of mama horse, looking to get ready to give birth, and how the other horses just so present with her, but they're not like licking her or messing with her or anything like that the way we do. They're just next to her and just like, we're really here with you. And that says, hey, mom knows what to do. Mom knows what to do. Our body knows what to do. Our true soul essence knows what to do. We got to get out of the way, but just really hold presence, for that birth. Just be right there. And it's so beautiful to see that devotion and presence, and all we can learn from the beautiful expressions of nature, of mother's garden all around us all the time. There's just the one little tree in the city, has a message for you. And we could stay connected to our organic loving earth, our organic loving Mother Earth that way, by connecting individually through species, and in that real presence. And can we be there? Can we be the midwives of Earth in presence? Um, and that we know that she knows what to do, and we know what to do, and it's all there, and we just have to be the observers, be present, watch it, love it, appreciate it, send our loving energy, um, and see this beautiful and harmonious birth process of the most perfect new form of the baby foal. So thank you so much for everything and being here, going through all you've gone through. Thank you so much for your support. Super appreciate your donations. There's a link to donate. And thank you so much for being a part of the SuperNova Soul Tribe. And joining that gets you into the new and full moon activations. Never miss an activation. But thank you so much for all the support you've given me just by being present with these concepts, listening, and paying attention. It means so much to me, and I really appreciate it. We're also, the next lunation to think about is the Scorpio full moon. It's going to be intense. That's going to be at 22 degrees Scorpio, master builder number. And that is going to be not too far from Uranus, the sun, and then the moon opposite Uranus. So that's where we are really facing the darkness around uh, the false stories and the darkness and whatever fear and shame around this higher power, like really embodying it and stepping it in and overcoming all of our fear and all of our repression of creation energy, right? So that's what we're working on now, feeling safe, getting used to, getting activated, um, into beginning to use this creation energy again. And it's a beautiful, beautiful discovery. It feels really good. So I hope you feel good. I hope you have some moments of feeling good, feeling better than you've had in a long time, because these control forces are losing their grip and lightening up. And just keep unplugging from those stories and keep plugging in, tune in, turn on to Mother's Garden, the energy of what's coming, what we're holding, the blueprint. She has the original blueprint of what this earth wants to become, the earth mandate. And it's so beautiful. And we were all there with her at the birthing of the original dream. And so now we get to birth the dream in manifest form, incarnate the dream. Before it was just a vision when earth was created. Now we're at the point that new earth, ascended earth, the next stage of earth, the dream of earth, is birthed into actual physical form. It's really quite amazing. Thank you, midwives, and for all of your love for the earth and her creatures and each other and the world and the collective. And you're just so amazing, so beautiful. And don't ever let this energy come in ever again to invalidate the beautiful gift of who you are. Just walk away and validate yourself. Let Mother validate you and all you've done for her again and again in your pure, true love. This is the thing about supernova souls, going through all we've gone through and still pure of heart. And it's quite amazing to talk to a supernova soul, and they often come across as really balanced and together. And then you'll hear their story and you're like, wow, So this is who we are. We live to tell the tale. And it's quite powerful and amazing to know you. So I'm honored, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.